Hey, everybody, my Buffalo buddies, this is Billy Sheehan, your bass player, and you're listening to me right here on Heard It on the X.
Welcome back to Heard It on the X. Billy Sheehan bringing us back. I wonder what Billy Sheehan's political affiliation is. See, we don't know.
He's pro Byron Brown.
Is he?
No, I don't know. I'm just...
You know, Billy's a strange cat, though, man. He's a Scientologist.
Is he?
Yes, he was the poster child for Scientology for a while. I don't know if he still is.
I got dragged into a Scientology tent before.
Did you?
Yeah.
Though at the fair they do it.
That's where I was dragged into it.
Yeah.
I was with a girl that I was with. This was years ago, and we were walking by it, and it said, free stress test or whatever. So we're walking past it, and she's like, "Oh, free stress test." She walks in. I'm like, "No." Like, I tried stopping her. She got away. She's, next thing I know, they got her hooked up, and she's sitting in the thing, and they're asking her these questions, and I'm like, they have it almost like how you and I are sitting across from a table. And so
I went in there to screw around with them a couple times. Yeah, I've done it a bunch of times. I think it's hilarious.
You have to know. I mean, the person I was with, this girl, she's very gullible. She's very, she's one of those girls that was, gullible and would almost, fall for anything.
You mean like, so she's a perfect Scientologist then?
Exactly.
Because L. Ron Hubbard is a science fiction writer.
So I'm standing behind the Scientologist worker, whatever, and they're asking questions, and I'm behind her going, "No." I'm like, "Get out." I'm like, "We need to leave." And so like another Scientologist, a couple people were almost like, "Why don't you step over here?" It got, real creepy for a second. They ended up talking her into buying the book.
Oh, no.
And so then we walk out, and I'm like, "Do you know what that is?" And she's like, "No." And I'm like, "That was, Scientology." And she's like, "Oh my God!" And the book just said Dianetics.
Dianetics, yeah.
And so they told her it was something with the brain or whatever.
Yeah.
So I explained to her that she had just been duped for $10 into buying a Scientology book.
Really?
That is I'm not going to get into religion. That's your own thing. Whatever you want to do. But if the guy who invented your religion was a contemporary of Gene Roddenberry, who wrote Star Trek, I don't know. That doesn't seem very.
It almost seems to me, and we can get off the topic after this because I don't want to go too deep into it. It almost seems to me as though it would be like if in 20 years or further down the road, because it'd be like if someone found a Harry Potter book and they were like, "Oh my God, this is
there were
these are the 5 books of our Christ." And it's people are worshiping Harry Potter
from Anne Rice.
Exactly.
But you know what? He said that he was writing. He actually said this back in the day that he was going to write his own religion. So what are you going to do? I mean, that's that. All right, Steve Jobs passed away.
Yes, he did.
And like it or not like Steve Jobs, he changed a lot of things that we do. I'm sitting here with an iPad. He definitely changed the phone. He's got the most popular phone, I think, ever. And the delivery of music.
Yeah, iPads, all that. I mean, we talk about music being more available now, and we talk about it being, more of a business and, all that. And, whether you're for, music sharing and it being out there like that and or against it, I mean, it wouldn't be possible without what Steve Jobs did with the iPod, with computers,
iTunes,
iTunes, computers.
I mean, the
iPhone.
Yes.
I mean, any of that. I mean, that's how you get music now. And so whether you're for it or against it, that's it's basically down to what Steve Jobs did. I mean, not to say he was behind all of. I mean, it was his idea, and it was never his intention to share. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, he didn't say. I mean,
he didn't say I'm going to destroy. How music people make money.
Do you think that he destroyed how music people make money?
The music people is a great term, don't you?
Music people, yeah.
The music industry. Yeah. I think he definitely changed it. I don't know. I guess
for the better or for the worse. You guys, once again, though, this is where your age.
See, for them,
I need someone my age.
Okay, for them, I think he did it for the worst. I think for the music fan, it's for the better. And the way I sort of justify it is I actually never download music. I've never downloaded, I don't think, a free album. I still go out to the store, and if I want an album, I buy it. I have the physical CD.
Which is harder now.
My friends make fun of me because they're like, "Why do you have CDs all over your car?" And you're like, "What are you doing?" And it's because, I don't know, I still buy music. But I think a lot of musicians don't make the money they used to because it used to be, if you like, the song that's the single, you got to buy the whole album. And, they made a lot of money off that. And I know your, argument is if someone wants Milli Vanilli, you know what I mean? You're saying, artists that are the past now, that's their only way of generating money.
Correct. No, yeah. I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on the whole thing. I don't like the delivery itself of music anymore. I'm a big fan, but I'm older. I like the movement of air. I like speakers that are in a room. I don't like little things jammed in my ear. I don't like the MP3 or MP4 format for music where it compresses it and it's devoid of bass. I don't like any of that. I think it's funny that that's how we get our music because it's when CDs first came out, the big knock on CDs is that they were sterile sounding, and now it's even worse. I just think it's awful, the delivery of music, and I credit Steve Jobs at least in part for that.
Yeah,
I do. What are your thoughts on it?
I try not to download my music. I buy it all. CDs mostly. I don't mind the sound of CDs, but I think he might have changed it a little bit. I think there were people that were like, "Wow, I have to pay for that."
Right.
I could probably rip it and find it for free, or
right.
something like that. So maybe he did kind of. I don't know. I don't remember when LimeWire came out. Do you remember? Was it around the same time?
The same time as iTunes.
Was it after that?
For some reason, I think it preceded it. I think that Napster.
Napster, yeah.
And Napster came out, and then they really seriously went after, and I can't remember that fella's name. That Sean or something.
I know who you mean. I think his name is Sean.
It's so funny because in my head I see Justin Timberlake.
That's what I'm doing too. I'm trying to
social network movie.
I'm trying to remember what his name is in the movie.
Sean, I think it's Sean something. They really, really went after him for that. And you know an interesting story on that whole Napster thing? I think that kid developed the program, and he sent it to a couple friends of his just to see if it was going to work. And within, he went to bed. He's like, "Oh my God, this works!" And he had no idea what he was going to do with it. He was just a kind of an inventing guy, and he was young. He was a kid. This is a kid, 17, 18, 19. He went to bed. He woke up the next day, and there was already 700 downloads of that program for file sharing, and it spread like wildfire. He really had no way to control it. Nor did he even think about what he was entering into. He wasn't old enough to understand. He had no concept of it. I know he's been vilified and made out to be like this super criminal. He was a baby. He didn't know what he was doing. He had no idea what he was doing.
And I mean, like you said, that wasn't his intention when it started. But the way back to what I was saying with Steve Jobs is he changed how they make their money now, and this is how I prefer it almost. Where if you want to be a big time musician and you want to make money, you got to be good live. You have to. You have to have a live show because if you're just going out there putting stuff on tracks. You're not going to make any money because they're going to download that for free. Your album has to be legit. If you want someone to buy it from front to back, you have to have, you can't just have the 2 singles that play on the radio, and then you're going to make the money for the whole album. You have to have front to bottom, a great album. And then another thing is you can access music a lot easier in the terms of if you were saying, I don't know, you say you're going out for a jog or whatever you're doing, you snag your iPod, you listen to it. Back before, the iPod and all this, maybe you had your tape deck or your CD player. Maybe you bring 1 or 2 CDs with you. You don't have a lot of variety. If you're running, if you have, every artist that you like, or maybe even some new artists, you can explore new things. You can go between, different songs and different artists.
The convenience aspect, yeah. But you know what? This is going back even to the Walkman and the Discman and all that stuff that Sony put out in the late '80s. I thought they were crap too. I thought they sounded like crap, and the idea of music isn't. And I know Kim Marie, if we could get her to talk in the way, I know she would agree with me. When we were kids and you had Kim Marie we've had in-depth conversations when she was younger about her access to a reel-to-reel machine, and she loved the sound of 2-inch tape. Albums. I just think it sounded better, and I think that I think it was. I think this age of personal everything, personal music for yourself, and it creeps me out when people walk in my store and they're,
Oh, and they got,
they got stuff in their ears.
some of
It's
that's
like,
weird.
Okay, cut it out.
Or you see that
be
you,
social at all.
you see that guy in the grocery store, and it's like, really, you're probably shopping for maybe a half hour.
We're going to go right through this last commercial break. We're not even going to go to this last commercial break.
Okay.
But something you had said is true. Bands had to be better live now, and they really have to be better live now. They really, really have to be better live now. But I'll tell you, it's the inverse of that. When I was a kid, and this is the truth, and once again, Kim Marie, we talk about this all the time. As a matter of fact, that Zeppelin poster that we have for the concert that never was from 1980, ticket prices were $15,
they were like
$12, and $10.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, you didn't make your money off of. They didn't make it all off the show. It was right around the time of Napster coming out that I think it was Fleetwood Mac, to be honest with you. We'd have to do research, but I distinctly remember Fleetwood Mac going on and coming out with a $150 ticket, and that was the beginning of it.
You can't go see a B quality act for $15 now.
No.
You can't go
Yeah.
to a small club where a B or C quality. I mean, it's tough to get a $15 ticket to a concert. You're probably paying $15 cover to go to a bar.
That's right.
Just to walk in.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, so it's different now than it ever was.